Kolkata Knight Riders, what do we say about them? They won their first game by 10, they lost tonight by 10, but more importantly, they've just thrown a game of cricket away. We'll discuss all of this and much more in Criclytics Man vs Machine. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're just trying to get our heads around what's happened with Kolkata Knight Riders out there. If you guys are making some sense of it back home, let us know in the comments, because Brian, I'll ask you that. Have you seen something like this in the game of cricket?
I've seen it many times. You just don't expect it from a bunch of professionals. And I just think the way how they went about that run chase, especially the last third of that run chase, was just shambolic. I know that Mr. McCullum and Mr. Owen Morgan has a certain style of playing, but these things, playing conditions, scenarios have to come into play at some point in time. So I was pretty disappointed in the way how the match finished. I think Mumbai played the game, calculated the game as well as possible. And they're not supposed to win, but I think the calculations that they did and all the things that they did to try to take the game down close, right, was well done by them, and they should be congratulated for it. And people talk about KKR threw away that game or lost the game. No, Mumbai played a very important part. They played the right cards at the right time, and they won the game. That's just how I see it.
Yeah, you can look at it in a different side of things, of course. If Mumbai clawed their way back, they certainly did, and that's what makes them so great as a champion outfit. Let's talk about KKR and that chase in particular, when it was still doable, Brian, with Andre Russell and Dinesh Karthik out there. Were you surprised by Andre Russell's approach, particularly to Jasprit Bumrah?
Well, Andre Russell pretty much looks a bit out of form. Not with the ball, it's amazing with the ball, but he looks a little bit out of form. Just with Bumrah to Andre Russell, I think, over the last couple of occasions, he's had the better of him. But Andre Russell is a striker of the cricket ball. Dropped twice off of spin and just didn't look comfortable. Yes, with 2 overs to go, 20 runs to make, you would think that a couple boundaries would get them into single figures in the last over. And that was a brilliant over from a brilliant fast bowler. Now, is that any different to say Hashal's over when he played and he picked up 4 wickets for 1 run? I mean, guys are capable of bowling these amazing overs at the end to pull their team back into it. Jasprit Bumrah would have backed himself at that occasion. So to say that I was surprised with Andre Russell or Dinesh Karthik's approach, it was just a very good over. And at that stage, they were in so much of a panic. With 48 runs to go, they had 52 balls, or maybe a little on the opposite way around, where 52 with 48. And no way that Captain Morgan, Nitish Rana, that bunch of wickets there, left-handed batsmen getting out to a leg spinner. They preach, KKR preach matchups. Bowlers that are spinning the ball into our batsmen, that's the matchup we want. All spinners to right-handers, left-arm spinners, and back-of-the-arm spinners to left-handers. That's the matchup we want. We're going to go hard. But boy, that was such bad cricket, it was unbelievable.
Yeah, Brad, you're a left-hander. You would have relished the leg spinner, and it's surprising that those southpaws, of course, failed to not just get the runs in their team across the line, but just throw their wickets away in really soft dismissals, some of them. Let's, of course, talk about Mumbai's batting woes as well. Not just once, but twice we've seen it so far in 2 games, Brian. If you were in their camp, would this be a cause for concern?
Not really. I think the condition of the pitch forces the sort of total. I mean, we already have the rankings and the average. 145, 148 is about average score at Chepauk. If you want to win a game, if you get 165, you're actually favorites to win the game. So they have to try to get accustomed. And they are watching matches that being played at their stadium at Wicket and 200 being scored. Of course, they're not going to be happy. They're not a happy bunch where they are and seeing the amount of runs being scored at their venue. But they are a professional outfit, and you look to them today, they knew that they came up short. this is the second occasion, so they've now batted 40 overs, and they've just shown that in the death overs, they've almost lost about 10 or plus wickets in the 2 games that they have played. That is not normal. They are striking at under 7 runs and over in the last 5 overs of the game. That is not Mumbai Indians. So yes, there is cause for concern, but 1 win out of 2, back up the table. They would iron things out. They will.
That's interesting that you say that, Brian, because of course we don't associate them to be not good finishers, should we just put it that way, in the death. Let's of course move on to Criclytics Man vs Machine, the prediction chart and whatnot with Brian, because that's pleased to tell you, Brian, it's a 2-2 tonight with a lot of things going your way, a lot of things not going your way. You should thank Dinesh Karthik for his 8 runs, because that pipped Dinesh Karthik past Quinton de Kock and gave you 1 point in the ball. Let's start with the batsman though, which is of course you went for Rohit Sharma. He did well, 43. The machine of course went for Nitish Rana, but eventually it was Nitish Rana to get the points in the ball. How well did he play? Because it's not very often that he gets back-to-back good knocks in the IPL.
Yeah, he played well, but I think the surface suits him. He likes the ball above, below waist high, and if you look at some of the dismissals that he had in previous IPLs, as long as the ball gets above his shoulders, and he seems a bit troubled. So this is perfect batting conditions for him. You still got to go out there and perform, and back-to-back 50s. I think it augurs well that he's still going to be in Chapak, and he's going to have an opportunity to make more runs. So he's in a bit of form. Left-handers, when they hit form, I can tell you, when they hit form, they stay in form for a period of time.
Yeah, Nitish Rana, if you're hearing this, hope that comes true for you, because right now, of course, he'll be bagging the orange cap and whatnot. Let's, of course, move on to the bowlers, because you picked a pacer in Jasprit Bumrah. The machine, Criclytics, picked a pacer and Trent Bolt, but it was a spinner, and he came to the party all right. Rahul Chahar went wicketless in 3 IPL games prior to this, and what a way to come back and get his best bowling figures in the IPL, right? 4 for 27 is what he bagged. Quite good.
Amazing, and you're not going to back him against left-handers one after the other, but he spun the ball, and he created chances, most importantly, and getting Tripathi out was a great delivery, pitching outside leg stump, around leg stump, spinning past the edge and taking it, and great catch by Quinton de Kock. But that's what pressure, building up pressure. And you talk about taking wickets. I think first of all, he built the pressure up, and these guys got themselves out. And that's key in this version of the game. It's always great to go searching for wickets, but if you build pressure, it creates wickets as well. And that's what he did quite well tonight.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up that, because building pressure is not just Rahul Chahar, but also Krunal Pandya, guys, because ultimately it was Krunal Pandya to save Lara's bacon out there, and I say that because Andre Russell got that hat-trick indeed, but none of those wickets really changed the game if you actually take a look at it from a Criclytics standpoint. Of course, Brian, Kieran Pollard was the other contender in this particular thing, but Krunal Pandya bowled a game-changing over. He eventually finished 4 overs, 1 for 13. A word on Krunal Pandya, please.
Excellent. Couple drop chances, even one by himself, but again, with the leg spinner picking up all those wickets and running out of overs, you needed someone else to come there and bowl, and he came in at the right time. The left-handers were gone, and he came in, he bowls flat, he bowls from behind the crease, he changes his length and line, his variation is excellent, and he seems like a guy who always wants to be in the game. He seems like a guy who always has something up his sleeves. I never head down. I watched him bowl against England. He was being smashed all over the place. He was trying everything. He was trying too much. But today was the day that he produced, and definitely kept Mumbai Indians in the game, and pretty much played a major part in them getting the results that they got tonight.
Absolutely, and the way he gets through those overs as well is, of course, not letting the batsmen settle down and trying to be at them all the time. That helped indeed. Another thing which helped was, of course, Dinesh Karthik and his 8 runs, because that gave Brian a point to take him level with Criclytics. And Brian, what do you have to say? Because Dinesh Karthik, like I said, saved your bacon.
Well, it's not 8 runs that he's going to be proud of. Um, but again, I think that panic stepped in. Then he never expected to have to play this role. He never expected to get to 20 runs in 2 overs, and pretty much he found himself at sea. Slow pitch, very hard to negotiate the spin that was coming to you. Very hard to negotiate the fast bowlers if the ball can rush on, if it's going to stop. A lot of dot balls in between that. Not something that I'm proud of. I'm not going to raise my hand and take any points for that, but I'm almost sure that he's as disappointed as everybody else in the defeat tonight.
Yeah, you'll take the points. You take a streaky run past third man. We'll consider it as that. But also, finally, a word on the match result. Of course, Mumbai to win it. It swung like a pendulum yet again. We're getting all these kind of games as usual in the IPL. Where do Mumbai go from here? Of course, they play Hyderabad then next, I think, and Kolkata take on Royal Challengers Bangalore. Mumbai, of course, getting the job done.
Yeah, well, they'll be happy with the points. They would prefer to dominate matches. They prefer to stamp their authority on the opposition. They have not been able to do that as yet. I suspect that any teams that, there's only 2 teams that has 2 matches, but in terms of average runs per match, Mumbai Indians will be at the bottom of the table. So they will have to pick themselves up. They pride themselves on a strong batting lineup. That is a strong batting lineup. And they pride themselves on scoring runs in abundance. It's been tough so far for them, and they will have to really do something about it. I mean, Chris Lynn sitting down on the sidelines would be thinking, well, but I think it's obvious that Quinton de Kock has to come back. And it's nice to have that reminder for the players that are in, that they have players that are out, that actually in a bit of form.
Yeah, and you never know, maybe a little Arjun Tendulkar could also be featuring in their playing 11 going forward. We'll leave it at that. But before you go, just a quick word on that big breaking news which transpired. Ben Stokes ruled out of the IPL, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, Rajasthan Royals now will miss him. They miss Archer. Brian, my question to you is, the IPL has 8 teams. Rajasthan Royals probably finishing 9th, right?
If I tell you Rajasthan Royals is going to qualify, you're not gonna believe me, right?
I mean, yeah, it's tough. But are you writing them off?
No, not at all. I mean, they've got Miller, they've got Liam Livingstone in the sidelines. These guys are very, very good players. I would like India to see Liam Livingstone. I think he's an outstanding player, and if he gets in, which I hope he does, I think it pretty much gives them that it gives them the batsman that they're missing in Ben Stokes. Maybe not the all-rounder, but it gives them the batsman they're missing. So I'm not going to rule out that team, Rajasthan Royals. With the 2 big boys gone home, if they were actually in India, they would be one of the favourites. I think they would have been guaranteed of qualifying. They are now home. They will have to fight. They will have to chase a lot of runs. They will have to score big runs to keep the opposition out. But they have the batting strength to do so.
Yeah, a little bit of tongue-in-cheek from me. Apologies to Rajasthan Royals fans. I love you guys to bits, and so does Brian, clearly. Thank you so much, of course, for your insights tonight, Brian. It's been yet another fascinating game, a compelling watch as usual. And cricket.com, it's been an elongated show, but that's how we do it. We'll let that be. Until then, it's a goodbye from all of us.